Celebrating 16 years on WJCU, Retro Radio is next.
Now, a Retro Radio special presentation.
This is WJCU, University Heights.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Rockin' Ray King and special guest DJ, Kevin O'Neill.
CKLW, the Motor City.
Here we go! It is 1 o'clock and time to rock. Welcome back to Retro Radio. I'm Ray King with a very special show today. Not only are we beginning at 1 o'clock, but say hello to our guest DJ, Kevin O'Neill.
Woo! Thank you, Ray. I'm so glad to play the right side. The flip side's called Hot Sand.
You would know.
And it's about as appealing as Hot Sand. A group, I believe, from the Netherlands. Supposedly, they recorded that song phonetically. The original title was...
I love it.
And if you're a college student who's really into record labels, and what college student these days is not into record labels?
Knows what a record label is.
Yes, exactly. Colossus is the name of that record label.
Very good.
It's 1970. I was hoping for the Bananarama version, but Ray King came up with...
out of our years.
Yes,
Sorry, Kevin.
Came up with the Venus from Shocking Blue. We're counting down the top songs on this date. 1970, February 8, 1970, according to the CKLW survey, the top 30.
Big 30,
Big
right.
30, and if you're not familiar with CKLW, it was a huge top 40 station in the Motor City. And we're going to have a ball the next 2 hours.
Yes,
so
we
glad
are.
that you can join us.
I'm Ray King, and we have Kevin O'Neill in studio. Kevin is a seasoned DJ, worked in Cleveland and Detroit, and we'll be talking to him later on about his career. Right now, there's this.
More music, CKLW.
Oh yeah, 104 on a snowy Saturday afternoon with Rockin' Ray King and my buddy Kevin O'Neill. Here come the Gentrys. This is song number 19 this week on the Big 8.
Familiar with that song, but
Close,
boy,
right?
I
Close.
love that song.
Yeah.
Number 19 this week on the CKLW Top 30, the Big 30, CKLW in the Motor City of Detroit. We are in the Big C, Cleveland, Ohio. We're actually in University Heights, which is a suburb of Cleveland, the beautiful campus of John Carroll University. Thank you, JCU, for welcoming us here. My name is Kevin O'Neill, my buddy Ray King. Top 30 songs. We are having a ball. This one, oh boy.
CKLW weather.
All right, looks like this. We're going down to a low of 28 tonight with light snow. Sunday, snow in the afternoon, high of 38. Overnight low of 34. And then Monday to begin the work week and the school week all over again. Snow in the morning with a high of 40. Right now we have 31 degrees and cloudy skies in downtown Cleveland.
From the campus of John Carroll University comes
CKLW.
Taking you back to 1970 with the hits from the Big 8, CKLW. This is song number 15 for Joe South, Walk a Mile in My Shoes.
Joe South, not to be confused with Jay North, who played the part of Dennis the Menace.
Oh,
See,
that was good, Kevin.
Oh yeah, my
Yeah.
mind is going in a million directions.
I wonder why.
Good stuff, huh? Joe South, games people play a couple of months before that. Then great follow-up. Walk a Mile in My Shoes. That comes in at number 15 on this week's CKLW Top 30 survey, the Big 8 in Detroit. We're counting them down here at John Carroll University, WJCU Radio. My name is Kevin O'Neill. My buddy is Ray King. And talking about this week in 1970, if we were flipping on the tube, as they used to call
all
television.
All 3 channels, right.
All 3 channels.
Yep.
Saturday night lineup. You're watching TV tonight on ABC. That would have been Channel 5 in Cleveland. The Dating Game, the Newlywed Game, followed by, here's the big one, Lawrence Welk, and then the Hollywood Palace. All right.
Yeah, okay.
Over on NBC, Channel 3, you got Adam 12, Saturday Night at the Movies. And then over on CBS, which would have been Channel 8 in those days.
Right.
That would have been the Jackie Gleason Show. What a great show. My Three Sons, kind of in the tail end of their run on television.
Right.
Green Acres was on Saturday night, followed by Petticoat Junction. And at 10 o'clock, if you could stay awake that long, of course, that's the way it is now.
Yeah, right.
When you're young, you can stay awake.
Right.
And you could watch Mannix. So that's the way it was Saturday nights on the tube here on WJCU. Ray, what do we got going here? We got something special? Yeah. Oh, love that. Oh, Isn't that great? Oh, they just get chills.
Love these jingles.
Chills hearing those jingles. Burt Bacharach, the guy can do it all. He wrote this one for Dionne Warwick, and boy, it was a big song.
What do you get when you fall in love?
From the musical Promises, Dionne Warwick with the number 23 song this week in 1970 on the CKLW Big 30, and I'll Never Fall in Love Again. It's Rockin' Ray King and my special guest DJ, Kevin O'Neill. It is 18 minutes past 1 o'clock. You are in tune with Retro Radio. After this next song, we're going to talk to Kevin about his career.
CKLW Golden.
Going back to 1968, my first year at Ohio State, here comes the Fifth Dimension to sing. It's Sweet Blindness on Retro Radio with Ray King and Kevin O'Neill on a Saturday.
Let's go down
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Fifth Dimension. And that lady who wrote that song, Laura Nero, she was writing songs before she was born, I think. She wrote that. She wrote Stone Soul Picnic for the Fifth Dimension, wrote Stony End and Time and Love for Barbra Streisand. Just never really had a lot of hits on her own, but was a big concert attraction and had a number of hit albums and passed away at a very, very young age. Laura Nero wrote it, and the Fifth Dimension sing it here on WJCU and the CKLW Top 30 Countdown.
There we go. Kevin, tell us a little bit about your radio career. You began here in Cleveland, right?
Yeah, well, actually in South Bend, Indiana.
Oh, wow,
Ray.
okay.
Yeah, I started working, in fact, 50 years ago this year, in 1970, at the campus radio station at Notre Dame University. And I was very lucky during my senior year. I got a chance to get a job part-time at a station in town in South Bend. So I worked the top 40 format there and a country format. And then I did come back to Cleveland, worked at WLYT for a while, 92.3 if you're in the Cleveland area. And that was oldies at the time, and made my way down to Akron, Ohio, Oberlin, Ohio.
Wow.
Back to Cleveland for the Big 1220, WGAR. That was a thrill to work at that radio station with people like John Lanigan.
50,000 watts,
Yeah, the 50,000 watt rockin' chair. Emperor Joe Mayer, Fig Newton, the whole gang, Bob James. So I was there doing the overnight show for about 2.5 years. Made my way down to Houston for about a year and a half. And then up to Detroit in 1980. In fact, I arrived in Detroit one day after Howard Stern arrived in Detroit. We both started morning shows right at the same time. And I know where I've been since then, but I have no idea what happened to him. I don't know if he's still in the business or what the deal is with him. But anyway, that was my, that's kind of a summary. And now I'm working with Mitch Albom, who's a wonderful man, author, philanthropist, and he does a radio show in Detroit every afternoon on 760 WJR, which you can pick up here in the Cleveland area.
Nice little plug, but that's okay,
Great
Kevin.
signal. Great signle. You got to tune it in 5 till 7.
There you go.
So, I am so blessed, Ray, that after 50 years, I'm still on the radio because that's what I wanted to. That's where I wanted to be when I was 4 or 5 years old. I grew up in Cleveland and heard all these heritage radio stations, heritage disc jockeys, and boy, to be a part of it, I'm eternally grateful.
Well, as you know, I began when I was 12 in 1960 at a little station in Mayfield Heights. But I tell you, this is proof that once it's in your blood for life.
You can't get it out of your head, as EOL once said.
You really can't. Okay, here we go with this next one.
My request.
Going out to my buddy, Dell of Brooklyn, Ohio. He wants to hear this Dionne Warwick tune. Nothing like two in a row, right? For the movie of the same name from 1967, the theme from the Valley of the Dolls on Retro Radio. Nice. Dionne Warwick by request.
Boy, if that were going any slower, it'd be going backwards.
Oh, come on, Kevin. That's a great
but
song.
It is. I didn't say it wasn't.
I got news for you. That was a great movie too. I love that movie.
Oh, hey, that was a little, before they had R ratings, that would have been an R-rated movie.
Yeah, I think
that's why we snuck in to see it, right?
They called that GP back then instead of PG. Remember?
Then you go home and get that copy of Portnoy's Complaint out of the closet, and you were raring to go. Yep. So, sorry.
It's okay. Live radio.
Retro Radio welcomes your requests. 216-397-4438. That's 216-397-4438.
CKLW.
Yes, give us a call. We are taking requests today, and Kevin's got some shout-outs to some of his friends that are tuned in.
Oh, yeah, our good buddy and one of my dearest friends, Tom Ryan, is listening in Detroit. His son,
know Tom,
Chris.
yeah.
Tom actually worked at CKLW in the 70s.
Right.
He was a board operator, engineer, and one of the absolute best best. If you work with anybody at CK, they would have told you he was tight and bright and right on. So, Tom, we're thinking of you and glad to have you listening. Nancy is listening. Thank you, Nancy, for tuning in. Brian is there with us. And, hey, all the way to Rhode Island. Rhode Island, my buddy Robbie and his
we do
lovely
stream.
wife, Rochelle. Yeah.
We do stream.
We certainly do. And we play stuff like this, too. Ready?
And we do it, too, every Saturday this time, usually at 3 o'clock. But today we have a basketball game at 3, women's basketball.
Hey.
So we are on at 1.
That's right.
Here we go.
This is WJCU University.
Metro Radio with Rockin' Ray King, Kevin O'Neill, and CCR.
737 coming.
Woo! Yeah!
One of those great bargain.
That's music.
45s.
Yeah. That's music.
That is bargain 45 time. You buy one record, you
There we
get
go.
2 great songs. You flip that
That's
one
right.
over, and you get Who'll Stop the Rain on the other side.
That's exactly right.
The old
That's
fantasy
exactly
record
right.
label.
Yep,
Good
you
stuff.
got it.
Creedence Clearwater Revival, Ray King, Kevin O'Neill, Retro Radio. We are counting down the top songs on this date from the CKLW survey, the Big 30. Oh, this one, I tell you, this one just, well, here we go.
More music, CKLW.
That nice slow jingle
Yep.
and a nice.
Race number 16 this week on the CKLW Big 30, and I can't play that song without getting a lump in my throat because it actually reminds me of my brother, whom I lost 3 years ago, the Hollies, and he ain't heavy. He's my brother.
It just stands the test of time, doesn't it?
It does.
Still sounds good to this day.
Neil Diamond also did it.
Yep.
I like that version better.
I'll vote for the Hollies.
There
Thank
you go. All
But,
right.
both great songs, though, Ray.
Absolutely. It's 1:37 on a Saturday afternoon with Rockin' Ray King. Up next, I have the number 22 song of the week from Jefferson.
The Big 8 CKLW. Come on and take me in your Motor City weather.
All right, looking mighty good. We are looking at some cloudy skies right now, and we have got snow forecast for tonight. Low of 28 overnight. Sunday, we're looking at snow in the evening, high of 38, overnight low of 34. Monday, back to work and back to school. We are looking at AM showers, believe it or not, with a high all the way up to 40 degrees. Hooray! How about that? A little break in this cold weather. Right now, we have got 31 degrees in downtown Cleveland.
Get prehistoric with Pre-for-Clee at
Oh, yeah, it doesn't get better than this. Number 30 this week on the Big 30, Santana. Evil Ways, you got the King and Kevin O'Neill.
You got to change your evil ways.
Got to change those evil ways. Santana. 1970, that's what we're counting down. The top songs this week in 70, the Big 8 CKLW Countdown. Ray King and I am Kevin O'Neill. So proud to be guest hosting on WJCU.
We are proud to have you, my friend.
John
Oh, yeah.
Carroll University. What a beautiful campus. 1970, the introduction of both the Ford Pinto and the Chevy Vega. Lucky us.
Two losers.
That was my first car, the Chevy Vega, 1974 Vega. That was
Lucky
my first
you.
car
Yeah.
from Ed Stinn Chevrolet.
I remember Ed Stinn.
Ed Stinn and on the west side, Jim Connell on the east
And
side.
they both advertised on HK and did a back and forth thing
Yes,
for
they
years.
did. Yeah,
years.
big-hearted Jim and straight shooting Ed Stinn.
Right.
Yeah, pardon us while we go back about
Right.
60 years.
Yeah, just about right.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Too
and
much
some
fun.
Great shout-outs. My buddy Phil Lynn, I worked with Phil at the City of Westlake Service Department. We worked on the rubbish trucks together.
Wow.
Back in the 70s, the early 70s. So, Phil, hello to you. Thank you so much for taking time to call. My buddy Richard Bird, who worked with my brother Dan at the post office for a number of years.
Okay.
He's listening today. A gentleman, Gary in Pittsburgh. Thank
Gary
you,
Winter,
Gary.
the Wild Man.
Thank you, Wild
He's
Man.
tuned in.
And our buddy Steve called and asked about Phil Gardner. I was at WGAR 76 through 78. And there was a disc jockey named Phil Gardner, who was there before I was there. So I never knew Phil.
Okay.
But Steve just wanted to know what happened to Phil. He went into Christian radio, and we're Facebook friends. He's a good guy. So, yeah, Phil Gardner is doing Christian radio and doing quite well. So there's an update on him. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, boy. You got good stuff? You got Canadian stuff? This
Good
is
year
one-
for music.
Yeah. Well, the Big 8 at the time had to play a certain percentage, 30% Canadian content.
Right.
And this was one of them. Bunch of guys from Canada called the Guess Who. You know what they got? They got on the mic and said they got no.
On my way to
If you were wondering, what is the first concert Kevin O'Neill ever went to, and who isn't wondering that? That was it. Guess who? I went to their concert in 1972. First time I went to. Didn't go to any concerts all through high school.
And where was that concert,
That
Kevin?
was South Bend, Indiana. I was.
Okay.
I had tickets for Three Dog Night, but couldn't go because I had to work. So I'm still bitter about that, by the way.
I don't blame you.
Counting them down. The top 30 from the Big 8 CKLW. Kevin O'Neill, thank you so much for having me here with Ray King.
You got it. And right now we have. Whoops. And right now we have a request from
1967.
going out to Aaron in Lakewood, Ohio. He wants to hear the one hit from the Human Beings. Here's Nobody But Me on Retro Radio. From late 1967 into 1968, the one big hit for the Human Beings and Nobody But Me by request from Lakewood, Ohio.
Oh, I was sweating to that one in the St. Edward High School gymnasium during all the mixers.
Yeah,
we called them mixers then. The
Right,
dances,
and I remember in this song, you were supposed to do the dance that they were singing about when they mentioned the boogaloo and all that.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I was too busy standing against the wall. You know,
Being a wallflower? Oh, no.
Great.
Ray King and Kevin O'Neill on Retro Radio on a very special show at a very special time, 1 to 3 o'clock today on WJCU.
CKLW. My Bellamy.
Oh, yeah, good
Wow.
stuff. That is
Bellamy.
the T-set. Yeah, the T-set and My Bellamy. Race number 27 this week on the Big 8 CKLW on This Week in 1970. Kevin, you got a story about our next song, right?
Yeah, first of all, hello to Al. He's in Parma. Is that correct?
Right.
Ray, yeah, very nice.
Parma Heights, yeah.
At Parma Heights, Al actually remembers my being on the Big 1220 WGAR. So thank
There you
so
go.
much. Appreciate that, Al. BJ Thomas, he went through some issues. He had some drug and alcohol issues, and he's very open about it. Says he does not remember recording this next song. Does
You're
not
kidding.
remember, but straightened himself out, and I had a chance to talk to him a few years ago. He's doing great. Here we go.
The Big 8 CKLW.
And Catherine Ross, if you're listening, please call.
This is WJCU, University Heights.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Ray King and special guest DJ Kevin O'Neill.
CKLW. The Motor City.
It's 2 o'clock at Retro Radio. Kevin O'Neill, Ray King, taking you for a ride in the Retro Radio time machine back to February of 1970.
Evening.
Song Vanity Fair, race number 29 this week on the CKLW Big 30 this week in 1970. It's 2:02 on a Saturday afternoon. You got Rockin' Ray King and Kevin O'Neill in your eardole. 3 o'clock this afternoon.
CKLW Motown Sound.
Oh, yeah. Number 26 this week on the Big 30 belonged to the Queen of Soul. May she rest in peace. Aretha Franklin. The song is Call Me.
Love getting phone calls like this. Thanks so much, Sandy. Took time to call in Cleveland Heights. She said she was having a not-so-good day. Tuned in, heard Ray King and me, Kevin O'Neill, and we made it even worse. No. She loves what we're doing. She
So
said
do we.
we should do it. We should do it even more.
We're going to have to. It does not get better than that, right, Kevin?
No, this is fun stuff. This week, 1970, the CKLW survey. That song was Call Me, and then this next one.
1966.
1, 2, 3.
Monday. 6, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Sunny. We all can really do the good. Now I'm a believer.
You just keep me hanging on.
The golden year, 1966.
That's about how long the songs were in 1966. They went by really quick. Chris Montez, Do Your Thing. Right now? No, I guess not. He's going to hold out a little bit.
If you're feeling sad and lonely,
CKLW weather.
Not too bad. Going down to 28 overnight with this chance of snow. Sunday, snow in the afternoon, high of 38. Overnight low of 34. And then Monday, back to work and back to school. Rain in the morning. How about that with a high of 41? Right now we have 32 degrees in the lakefront city.
Lake Effect Reverb, 11 a.m. on WJCU.
By request.
Going out to Westside Richie, he wants to hear the Association. Goodbye, Columbus on Retro Radio. From the movie of the same name, The Association from 1969 and Goodbye, Columbus. Good song. Ray King and Kevin O'Neill on Retro Radio. How you doing, Kevin?
Good. They've been trying to say that in Ann Arbor for years, Goodbye Columbus, but it just doesn't work.
I hear
Columbus
that,
keeps hanging around.
I hear that from our mutual friend,
beating the heck out of
Art
him.
Volo, every November without let up. He is so bitter that they haven't won a game in so many years, and I say, hey, we're a better team. That's all there is to it.
I got to tell you, I cannot thank you enough for having me in. And we're not done yet. We ain't done yet. We got a lot more to do.
Quite a ways to go. And by the way, just for those of you who don't know Kevin, and probably most of you don't, Kevin has got a hidden talent, which is really good.
Well, do I have to juggle again?
Nah, no.
Unicycle?
No, This is radio, not TV.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
Kevin does great impressions. Check out this.
Number 7.
That's right. Number 7. We're counting them down all the way to number 1. Number 40 to number 1. Somewhere in there is the Philly sound. We're talking about great radio stations like WIBG, WFIL, disc jockeys like Joe Niagara, the Gator, and of course, the Delphonics singing this.
I gave my heart and soul.
Oh, Philly Soul from the Delphonics.
Good
William
song.
Hart and Company. Didn't I blow your mind this time? That goes out to our good buddy, Big A disc jockey and Wixie 1260 super personality on Super Radio, Steve Hunter, listening today in Houston, Texas. So, Steve, keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for the stars,
And
in heavy traffic, keep your finger out of your nose.
That's the one.
More music. CKLW.
Here's Wilbert Harrison. Yeah. Number 8 this week on the CK Big 30. Let's work together. You got the King and Kevin O'Neill here.
Together we were standing, playing.
Work it out.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. Always like that version better than the canned heat version.
I totally agree. Wilbert Harrison, known for Kansas City. What year, Kevin?
Kansas City was 59.
That's about right.
Yeah. And Kevin O'Neill, Ray King playing the top 30. This next song, I'll tell you, this guy, Tony Burrows, is the lead singer. And he is also the lead singer of Brotherhood of Man, United We Stand, Divided We Fall.
Right.
The Pipkins, Give Me That Thing.
Right.
My Baby Loves Lovin'.
Man.
White Plains. This guy was the lead singer of so many different studio groups, but he was right at the top of this one, too. And we're glad to play it for Tommy in Lakewood.
CKLW Hitbound.
Put this one up on the Retro Radio Facebook page this week at facebook.com/Retro Radio Station. Edison Lighthouse, Love Grows, where my Rosemary goes. Hitbound this week on the Big 8, baby.
That is the quintessential feel-good song. Love Grows, Where My Rosemary Goes. Edison Lighthouse this week, 1970 on the Big 8 Countdown.
Hitbound on the Big 30.
It was,
right?
yeah. Ray King, my buddy Ray King, Kevin O'Neill. Question for you. What do you call an ultimate optimist? What's the definition of an ultimate optimist? Okay.
Somebody who always looks at the bright side?
Well, somebody who actually does still wear a Detroit Lions cap.
Ouch!
All right? That's we're few and far between.
I've got to get you a CKLW cap. I actually have one.
Oh, I would love that.
I stole it from Art.
I would love that. I would love that.
It's 2:23 on a Saturday. You got Rockin' Ray King and special guest DJ Kevin O'Neill in your ear till 3 o'clock today.
More music. CKL.
Here's a number 1 song for 1970, Simon and Garfunkel, Bridge Over Troubled Water. The number 1 song for all of 1970. Oh, yeah. Nice song. Bridge Over Troubled Water, Simon and Garfunkel on Retro Radio.
CKLW.
Hitbound this week. Bubblegum still lives.
Oh,
yeah. Here's Tommy Rowe. Jam up and jelly tight one time.
This is WJCU, University Heights.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Ray King and special guest DJ Kevin O'Neill.
CKLW, the Motor City.
It's 2:30 at Retro Radio. This is Rockin' Ray King along with my special guest Kevin O'Neill.
Hello.
Taking you back to this week in 1970 with the hits from the Big 8 CKLW. Temptations now.
If you ever have a chance to visit the Motown Museum, Hitsville, USA, right on West Grand Boulevard in Detroit, only about a 3.5-hour drive from here at the most. Do it.
There you go.
To stand in Studio A, where all those songs were recorded,
Right.
it gives you chills. It really does.
I'll bet it does.
Temptations, Kevin O'Neill, Ray King. We're counting them down. The top 30 this date in 1970. This guy had been around for a long time. He had been Brooke Benton, recorded in the 50s and the 60s. This one, written by a fellow who just passed away a couple of months ago. Great songwriter, Tony Joe White from Polk Salad Daddy fame. Sing the song.
Hoover and buy my suitcase all over the world.
Brooke Benton, The Rainy Night in Georgia, as we count them down from the Big 8 CKLW survey. This date in 1970. Let's go back 6 years before that, 1964, the name of the group, The Showmen, and the lead singer, General Johnson. The song was It Will Stand, but 7 years later, he was there with this song on the Big 8.
More music, CKLW. Give me just a little more time, baby, please, baby.
They had a bunch of hits in the 70s when they were called the chairman of the board.
Yeah.
That is the number 3 song on this week's CKLW Big 30. Give me just a little more time. And back in 1964, as Casey just said, they were known as the Showmen with their big hit, It Will Stand.
Motor City weather.
All right, one last look at the weather. A 60% chance of snow for tonight. Today's high of 33, overnight low of 28. Then Sunday, more snow. What a surprise, right? Yep. High of 38, overnight low of 34. Then Monday, showers in the morning with a high of 41. Right now, we are still hanging in there at 32 degrees in downtown Cleveland.
Looking to add some comedic and head to the clevelandbucketlist.com.
Good going, King. Shut your mic off every now and then. Oh, yeah, live radio, gang. What can I say? This is a two-sided hit for the number 1 song this week on CK. Sly and the Family Stone. It's 1B. It's called Thank You. Kevin?
For letting me be myself. Flip it over, everybody is a star. 2 for 1, a bargain 45.
Is my mic on? Can you guys hear me? Am I going out over the air?
If you're testing. If you're old enough to remember the Ed Sullivan Show, I saw Sly and the Family Stone perform that on Ed Sullivan. They were walking through the audience and getting her, and it was. I had it on pretty loud, and my dad walked in and said, "What the heck are you watching?" He was not a big Sly and the Family Stone fan.
But did you see the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show?
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
I did too. Yeah,
that was 1964. This week
just had an anniversary a day or two. That's right. Here we go.
Slow jingle into a slow song.
That's the way it's done.
Yes. Hey There, Lonely Boy was the first song. Ruby and the Romantics did it then.
Hey there, boy loves you.
Hit that high note. Yeah. Do it.
Wow. Do it again. Come on.
Kevin knows his music. Yes.
Wow. Used to bring that one to parties, hoping that a slow dance would come up.
There you go.
And it never did.
That is Eddie Holman and Hey There, Lonely Girl, race number 5 this week on the CKLW Big 30. You've got Rockin' Ray King and my special guest DJ Kevin O'Neill winding it down. Kevin, was this a fast 2 hours
my
or
Lord.
what?
This was it went by too quickly. We have to do it again.
We will do it again.
Must.
And by the way, this show is being captured on video. Will be uploaded to both YouTube and my Facebook page and the Retro Radio Facebook page very soon. Now,
And on 8-track, if you're of that age.
Yeah, I forgot. We can do 8-track. Why not? Now, I've got a good trivia question for you. Now, we just heard a song that was like an answer song to a previous song. There was a song out in late 1960 by the Drifters, Save the Last Dance for Me.
Yeah.
Do you remember who did the answer song and what it was?
Yeah, well, it was called I'll Save the Last Dance for You, a female vocalist.
Right.
And I cannot think of who that may be. Maybe Linda Scott?
No, it was actually Demita Jo.
Demita Jo.
Who had a few other hits back in the 60s.
Yes, Tomorrow Night.
Go.
And so, yeah, she
there you
has
go.
some hits.
It's 2:51 at Retro Radio.
CKLW, $1 Million Music.
Oh, yeah. Number 10 this week on the Big 30, on 10A CCR. Who will stop the rain? You got Rockin' Ray King doing my weekend thing with special guest DJ Kevin O'Neill.
Long as I
I'm sorry, Ray. I was recreating 1970, reading my copy of The Sensuous Woman. I'm sorry about that's.
Boy,
that's.
Boy, are you dating yourself, my friend?
CCR.
Yeah.
1970. All the hits from 70 this week.
Great year, yes.
Yeah. What a year it was. Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh opened. We got a new home you could purchase for $26,600.
Can't imagine
heading to the movies to see Love Story, MASH, Five Easy Pieces, Patton, and Woodstock. What a year it was.
There you go.
And the year I graduated from St. Ed's High School.
Well, I was ready out of school for 5 years. 1970, I was at Ohio State working in the Derby Hall Radio Lab.
Yeah.
That's where Ray King was born.
That's
at
right.
Ohio State.
Good. And he's doing well after all these years.
Thank you so much.
The Big CKLW.
Yeah, one of those two-sided hits. I love that when you buy a 45 and you get a couple of hits, two for the price of one.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for letting me be myself on the one side. Everybody is a star on the flip.
Everybody is a star.
Number one song of the week. Good, Ray. Sly and the Family Stone. Everybody is a star. This is Rockin' Ray King, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time, I would like to thank our guest DJ, Kevin O'Neill, for joining us today.
Oh, the thank you comes from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, Ray. So good, and thanks to WJCU for having me in here. Would love to come back and do it again.
We got to do it again. There is no doubt about it. I'll be back next week as we begin weekend number 1 of Radiothon 2020, the one time in the year when we ask for your help to keep WJCU going for another year. Stand by for Blue Streaks women's basketball up next, followed by Jumpin' Joe's Basement Show right here on 88.7 FM. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Saturday at 3 o'clock. Take care, and bye-bye.
Adios.